Hello, everyone. I decided to start this adventure of doing a podcast. As most of you know, I've been going through a separation leading to a divorce, and I discovered that there is so much disinformation about how mentally a divorce can affect you. Like there are these great podcasters that are now talking about it, they're opening about it, and I think it's amazing and it's something that we should all share more experiences about how it can really affect you, your family, your friends, your kids, more importantly. So I kind of decided to create this safe space, and I will be bringing very cool people that've been through similar things, and also people that've been through healthy relationships, even after a breakup or just their entire lives. Which there are people that have been very lucky in life and found their soulmates and a very, very heal and calm and peaceful person. And I guess that's what we all hope for. So for this first one, I'm gonna kind of tell you guys how I've seen this separation slash divorce. What's my experience of living through it? So life's been rough, of course, especially because when there are kids involved, things get foggy. It's normal, like your ex is always going to be upset with you, especially if you're the one taking the lead step to leave a relationship, no matter how it was, because not everyone gets divorced because they get abused, because they get, some people just get divorced because they just don't love anymore. And I guess that's valid. And life is too short to stay in places where you're not happy. So any reason to get divorced is valid. It's your decision. And I guess it took me a while to take this one, but I decided that I was too young to feel this crush inside. My ex is not a bad person. He's not. He's a good father, and he was good in his own way. He just couldn't be good for me. He was not mentally good for me. And I feel like when you're in a relationship and that person doesn't help you grow, or you don't feel like that person is supporting like your dreams, or you don't align with what you want in life, you feel the other person is getting stuck, or simply is being a rock on the path. I'm not saying he was a rock, of course, because he did support me in some things, but when you feel like you're walking in eggshells, that's when you know that something has to change because life is too short. And for anyone that is out there relating to what I'm saying, I know I'm not the only one because this is something that after this decision I took, I started researching and listening to a lot of people, therapists, a lot of podcasters like Lewis House. I don't know how to say his name; it's too complicated. But he's super famous, and if you guys haven't listened to him, you have to. He's been very critical part of my healing process. Because that's something people don't say. They say, "Oh, you left them, you're fine." No, you're not. I didn't take this decision because I didn't love him, because at that time I did. It was just a different love, you know? Like you fall out of love when there is no respect in several aspects. It's easy to just try to stick up for the kids, and no one should do that. Especially if you're young. You're going to live with the consequences 20 years later when something happens and you start separating when you're 40, 50, and it sucks. So I guess what I'm saying is if you feel you need to act now, just do it. Because people are going to get upset with you. You're going to lose people you love. It's going to be rough. It's going to be difficult. People are going to talk. They're going to see you as the bad person. Like a lot of people sees me right now as I'm the bad person. Like probably his family, most of them hates me, which I don't care at this point. I know I did everything I could to save this marriage. And no one can say I didn't try because I tried pretty hard. And I am sure most of the people that decide to take this big step of getting divorced have tried a lot too. So if you want to comment here anything about your separation, even if it's not a divorce, because when you are with someone several years and you suddenly break up, that's just as much as a divorce. It's just without the paperwork, but the mental and the emotional damage that is done after a breakup, your brain is never the same. You have then trust issues. You have your some people just like me get low self-esteem after a divorce because you were with someone that call you names or say that you were not pretty in some ways or call you fat or call you too skinny or I don't know. But there are people out there that do that. And even if you were not married, if you went through something similar to what I'm saying, you know how hard it is to get back out there, especially when you start dating. I mean, oh gosh, it is scary. It is very scary. And I feel like for guys, it's so easy. Like they go out there and they have a girlfriend in 2 weeks, in a week, in days, and they're fine. For us, especially for the ones that decided to break up things, you are so insecure at that time. You're so scared. You are so sensitive that you're trying to walk very carefully to where you're going. And I feel like sometimes we put walls, and those walls they can damage future relationships. You know, they can not only make you vulnerable and more sensitive to certain situations. Like if someone say a white lie, you get all freaked out. Like, what the fuck do you lie to me? I don't want to be with you anymore. Like, you're lying. It's so easy to get triggered after you go through a rough and horrible separation that breaks your heart. So, if you have any experiences or you have any advice, because at this point, any advice is welcome on how to navigate through dating after a breakup with someone that you were with for a very long time or someone that you thought you were going to be forever with. Because no one goes into a marriage without thinking, well, let's correct that. No one goes into a marriage thinking they're going to break up. If that was the case, no one will get married because believe me, divorces are expensive. Expensive and they're tedious and they are just probably the most horrible thing I've ever done in my life. But it's what it is. So if you have any advice, if you're already healing in the healing process, because this is something that a lot of people has the misconception of, if you are not healed completely, you cannot start dating again. No, if you are not healed completely, you cannot date a toxic person. You cannot date, well, you shouldn't date a toxic person like ever, but you cannot date someone that is not healed in some ways. Because if that person is not going to bring you peace, if that person is not going to help you feel alive and happy again, don't start dating. But if you are on your healing process, for example, I'm seeing a therapist. She's being like a lifesaver for me. She throws that lifesaver out of the boat and I grab it and I feel safe when I talk to her. I feel safe and I feel heard and she's given me a lot of tools to cope with some emotions, which most of the times is pretty hard. For those that know me, I am very headstrong and when I have an opinion or something on any topic, I get very set on my own ways. So we're working through it. But if you are on that process of healing, of getting better, of letting go of the pain, because it's a pain, it's a loss. It's like I am grieving right now. And I'm sure most people feel that way when they separate, or if you're going through a separation too. But if you are going through that and you're working hard on yourself and you're being honest with who you are and what you need and what you want, allow yourself to go out there. Why not? You know what having a good boyfriend does? That I've seen many people that had good boyfriends after like not a very good relationship. It helps you. It helps your self-esteem. It makes you feel wanted again. It makes you feel safe. It makes you feel like you're more than a mom. Because let's talk about moms that are getting divorced. It's very freaking hard, right? It is, and I feel like without taking out the mental and healing process on those that do not have kids. When you have a kid, you're not only worried about your mental stability and your emotions and your healing, you're thinking about that kid too. And it is easy, and you're gonna hear your ex saying things like, you broke our family, our kid's not gonna be okay, he's gonna be so confused, this is all your fault, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Our kids are resilient. It is hard for them because for my kid, it's been terribly hard. Like, we've had these deep conversations and he's just trying to understand everything, I guess. Especially the oldest they get, or well, not the oldest, the youngest but oldest because he's 5. It's hard for them to understand what is actually happening, like when they're out of that toddler stage, that they're like thinking about everything and asking about everything and they're curious about the world. When something like this hits them, it's like, wow, this is a big change. What is happening? Why mommy and daddy are not living together anymore? So at that point, it's so hard for you to feel like a good mom or like a good dad too, because this is a podcast for males and females. We all go through the same, just with different people. But the process of breaking up is usually very similar. You break up, you go through grieving stages. Well, you go through denial first, then grieving stages, and then finally start getting better, because that's life. You can always get better. You can always find better, and you can always be better. So when I'm thinking of a divorce for people that have kids, that emotional burden that you feel, it's not only because of you, it's because of your kids. And let's be honest, no one wants their kids to be sad. We as parents, and I see it even on my mother. Like, my mother is grieving with me. My mother is being walking on eggshells because when I separated, it was difficult and it took me a very long time to take the decision. Like, there were good days, there were very bad days, and my mom was there through it, through all of it. She knew every single issue. She knew every single time I cried. She saw me suffering. And when I decided to leave him, I guess she had this expectation because she's still married to my dad. She had this expectation of, you left him, you're fine, let's move on, you're gonna be okay. And she has never been to therapy. So I guess that's also why, and she's a Latino mom. Like, these Latino moms have their strong opinions, they are protective, but they're strong. So she's always been, you can do this, you're fine. And I'm like, I know I can do it, but I want to cry first. I want to be sad, I want to be angry, I want to let all my emotions out. And if you get in my way and tell me not to, I'm going to yell at you. So when you're getting divorced, you're not only hurting that person that you left, you might end up hurting people that you love. Because I've done it with my mom too. And I'm not proud of it, but being sensitive and having someone that does not understand exactly your journey and they're trying to get in your way or trying to help you because they're trying to help you. I mean, we all have that person that is like, you're better without them. And you're like, I know, but still hurts because it does. It hurts. And I'm still hurting. Not because I'm still in love or I'm regretting anything, but because, and as a Catholic too, again, religion comes to the table. I thought that I was going to be able to have a happy, full, and complete family the rest of my life. That was my dream. That was a dream, but it didn't work out. So I needed to make up my mind to the idea of I'm alone now. So how are we going to proceed? What's going to happen? And then when you get married, you buy a house like I did. You have all these things in common that then you have to just break up. So that breaking up the things, breaking up the things that you built together, that hurts. And it hurts because it takes such a long process to separate things, to sell things, to even sell a house. It's such a tedious and heartbreaking process. Every time I go to my house that I'm selling, oh, sorry, my cats are in the background going crazy. Every time I go to that house to pick up something, which thank God I'm 99% moved, I just have a few things in there. I sit on the floor of the house and I cry. I cry because I thought I was coming to my home. Maybe not my forever home, because we all have high expectations for what we want in life. But I thought it was going to be a prospect of a good home for 6, 7 years. A home where we're going to watch your kid grow. But it didn't happen. And that's also part of the grieving. Accepting that some things that you have planned in your life are just not going to happen anymore. And I know some people, and if some of my ex's friends or family say this, they're going to be like, well, this is your choice. You're feeling this way because of you. Yes, it is my choice. And I am happy with that. Very happy. I am feeling the best I've ever felt in a very long time. But it's still very sad because I did not marry someone with the mindset of I'm going to divorce him in this many years. I did not. And I'm sure no one does that. So when things don't work out, you go through these stages of breaking up things. You break up friends. You break up relationships with their families. Like, for example, my ex's family, they were like my family too. Especially because we have a kid together too, you know? You learn to love that people like they're your own family. You remember their birthdays, you remember the good moments, and it's hard. It is very hard. But life move on, and we're humans, we're used to the changes. We were designed to grow, we were designed to learn from our mistakes. That's why, guys or girls, if you're watching this, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna be fine. I'm still not okay, but I'm confident that I'm gonna get there because I am utilizing all the tools I have to get okay, to get better. So if you need help, talk to someone. If you can't afford therapy, go online, do mindfulness meditations, listen to this great like Jay Shetty. He's amazing. He's another podcaster that I've been listening to a lot. Listen to Marisa Peer. She helps you find yourself and she helps you with her books to understand that you are enough. There's her book, I Am Enough. It's the best book I've ever read in my life. I've read it like 3 times. You go back, you go forward. It gives you lessons. It helps you find yourself and it helps you realize your worth because You're not going to be able to find that person that you dream of, your Prince Charming or your ideal women, if you do not know who you are. If you don't know who you are and what you want in life, you can't expect to find that person. Which, again, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be looking for it. Because the person that you might need in your life, or the person that you want and desire in your life, is going to come at any time. It's unannounced. It's just going to show up and bring you everything that you ever dream of. That's how love works, right? So, just to wrap up, this was a short one. Hopefully, next time I'll bring someone with me and we'll have nice conversations too. But to wrap up this pilot episode, I just want to say that no matter what you're going through, you don't have to stay. If you don't have support, you're always going to find a way to be okay on your own. I mean, America, United States, this is a country of opportunities. Talking about opportunities. Oh, where is it? Oh, here. Go vote. Go vote. Because the only way to keep this country beautiful and this country free is exercising democracy. So we live in a country with so many opportunities, in a country where people understands that other people are struggling, and you're always going to find someone to help. If you're not good, like economically, there are fundraisers out there. There are that can help you, you know, a lot of them. So don't be scared. I recently went to a concert of one of my favorite bands, Blue October, and he began talking about all his fears. Very funny, very saying he hates snakes. Yes, we know you hate snakes, but what I like more about it is that he was open and he was saying, we all have so many fears. And he said something that resonated with me a lot, that one of the biggest fears he had because he had two kids from two different relationships. And he said that his biggest fears were losing his kids. So for many of us that are getting separated or whatever, we all have fears of losing something, or most importantly, someone. And I feel like it's okay to have those fears. You just can't let those fears take over you. And the fear is the worst enemy of the human race, 100%. All the big mistakes that have been made by people are because they were scared and they started doing things they shouldn't because they didn't want to do what was right. So don't be scared of doing what you feel is right for you, because no one but you knows that. No one knows you better than yourself. And if you don't know yourself very well, which it can happen to any of us, that at some point we just don't know ourselves anymore. It happened to me. I didn't know who I was. But if you don't know yourself, ask the people that you love more. Ask the people that is close to you. And it doesn't have to be your mom or your dad if you don't have a close relationship with them. It can be a friend, a coworker that you see every day. Hey, do you think I would do the right thing if I do this? Give them context. Talk about things. The reassurance of having someone in there, and I've had a very amazing support system with my friends. I open up and tell them everything, because I needed a push. I needed someone to slap me and say, wake up, what are you doing? And sometimes, most of the times, we all need that push, that slap, that soft hug, maybe. I like things rougher. If you slap me, I'm gonna learn better, and that's how I am. But maybe you need a hug. Maybe you need a I'm here for you. But I'm sure we all have that person. Even if it's one, if it's two, I have my tribe. But it is truly a blessing listening from the people you love that you deserve more. Listening to the people you love that you made mistakes, you were maybe not a good person at sometimes. Because I had people telling me, why do you say that? Like, that's messed up. That's not okay. And listening to that and listening to the, you're going to be fine. We're here for you. That's all you need to take that first step. Because again, remember that life is too short. I hope you guys like this video and are looking forward for more. We'll have more stories coming up, and I'm going to bring some very nice people, some people from my tribe to talk about their experiences. And yeah, thank you so much. If you like it, please like it and share.